Accessibility is the key to our future. It leads to education, to knowledge, which ultimately leads to innovation and technology. Technologies that will save our world from economic and environmental crisis. Human minds are an ultimate source of wealth in this aspect. Simply put, more human minds born into this world and given access to the world means a higher chance of revolutionary ideas and innovation. Then again, saying we need more minds may encourage population growth, and some environmentalists say that population growth is the root of all environmental problems. Many would say that we have to shrink the population dramatically to fix all of our problems. Think about this though. In the 1950s, the average amount of children that a family had was 5. Today, it's about 2.5. So we could say that our population growth is actually declining. Regardless, is a smaller population better? Think about this. Would we be better off if fewer people lived before us, or if more people had lived before us? If fewer people had lived before us, certainly we would have a larger reserve of finite resources. However, we wouldn't have had the same leaps in innovation that have led to today's technology in such a short span of time. With less minds innovating in the past, it would have taken longer to get to where we are today, and thus potentially used up just as many resources. So why can't we say that the abundance of innovation trumps mass consumption? Sir William Petty, an English economist, scientist, and philosopher from the 17th century, once said, "It is more likely that one ingenious, curious man may rather be found amongst 4 million than 400. Though this quote may be dated, it is still ultimately true and relevant to the present. An ingenious, curious man knows innovation can only be accomplished through global cooperation and connectedness. This can only be accomplished if more of the world has the accessibility that we in developed countries do." The view Petty expresses is that the more people that are born, the more minds that are born as well. These minds come up with ideas and contributions that can aid the current environmental and economic problems that we face today by means of increased global cooperation. Excessive population growth can be a problem unless we have proper technology that can contain growing consumption. This is accomplished through increasing accessibility, which in turn provides the necessary education and global communication to trump the growing consumption and gain access to all these new minds at the same time. Now, this education must be accessible everywhere, to everyone. And an amazing way to do that is simply through the internet. Short-term speaking, this is not economically efficient due to the amount of time and resources it will take to develop some of these countries that currently don't have that accessibility. Yet, in the long term, it would be largely beneficial due to the sheer numbers of educated people on Earth, adding to the technology and innovation we need to sustain our economy. Today, the internet is changing the way we work, socialize, create, and above all, it helps us organize the flow of people and ideas around the globe. The internet exerts a strong influence on economic growth rates as well. According to McKinsey Global Institute, over the past 5 years alone, the internet's contribution to economic growth rates in underdeveloped countries has doubled, thus bringing new minds online every day. Contributing to our society, adding to the wealth of knowledge from which we learn, and adding to the never-ending streams of revolutionary technology. Technology that connects us, moves us, and will ultimately save us. For example, coal used to be the dirtiest fuel to produce. Yet new technology has instated scrubbers that clean the exhaust stacks of coal-generating plants, which are now legally required for the United States. The only thing that hinders their widespread use around the globe is that they are expensive in the current economy. Which is why the countries of affluence must lead the way in the technology revolution that will save us, so that these technologies become used, drive their prices down. Then, current developing countries can introduce those technologies right from their initial development stage. Another technological example can be seen in Sweden. Their innovation with their established incinerated waste management technology has made them a model for an environmentalist dream. They have a shortage of garbage. 4% of their household waste ends up in landfills. The rest is recycled or used for electricity to power the homes that waste came from in the first place. In comparison, the US Environmental Protection Agency reports that over half of the waste produced by US households ends up in landfills. That is a staggering difference. Now, you may say that incinerating plants provide just as much a problem to the environment, their CO2 emissions. Now, think about this. According to the New York Times, modern incineration plants are so clean that many times more dioxin is now released from home fireplaces and backyard barbecues than from incineration. According to the German Environmental Ministry, because of stringent regulations, waste incineration plants are no longer significant in terms of emissions of dioxins, dust, and heavy metals. They're not even put into the equation anymore. Now, even better, another even cleaner technology being introduced is the plasma waste recycling system. Rather than incinerating waste, it uses plasma energy to burn the waste into harnessable gases, a process that eliminates hazardous byproduct. Landfills are a major source of methane emissions, which, on a pound-for-pound basis, have 21 times more greenhouse gas effect than the CO2 that comes from the plasma waste recycling process. So, who creates this technology? Who are the beautiful minds that come up with these revolutionary and world-changing innovations? We don't know yet. The uncertainty of the future is our motivation. The ultimate goal is to increase global accessibility to these technologies so that more minds can contribute to the currently developing technologies, moving forward while solving problem after problem, crisis after crisis. According to the United Nations Development Program, the majority of the top 15 countries in the world ranked for education are also in the top 15 for research. This provides a direct correlation of research with well-educated countries. All it takes is accessibility. Accessibility to education, accessibility to technology, and then accessibility to resources. By the year 2030, we will have 3 billion more minds online to contribute to global innovation. And if just one of those people has an idea that provides global sustainable energy or can cure a widespread disease, then it's worth it to spend the resources necessary to build a more connected world. The question is, where do we start? Do we start at affluence? Do we start at technology, connectedness, education? It doesn't matter. All of those things already exist today and are only going to become more ubiquitous in the future throughout the globe. All we have to do is bring all those things together, and a sustainable global economy will be the result. Thank you.